Tonight on News 5 Live, a state of emergency is declared in 3 Belize City neighborhoods. David Sutherland is arraigned for the murder of Nikolai Reese. Rainforest Seafood agrees to pay the Fisheries Department over $700,000 for confiscated undersized conch. And in this week's episode of The Bright Side, BCVI resumes a summer program for the blind. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Whether you're in a bustling urban area or a tranquil rural community, connectivity matters. Internet access is key to continued socioeconomic development. That is why Digi, our national telecom, has and will continue to invest millions of dollars to expand its mobile and fiber networks throughout Belize. Thousands of mobile users and households, especially along the highways and in rural communities, are now enjoying the benefits of Digi's resilient infrastructure. Our national telecom will continue to lead the charge towards digital transformation by utilizing cutting-edge technology and maintaining an unwavering dedication to excellence. With our DigiWallet solution, Belizeans in urban and rural areas now have easy and safe access to a wide array of financial services via their mobile devices. And with the recent launch of Digi TV, Digi has made history, becoming the only quad play service provider in Belize. Now, customers can save with our DigiOne bundles that offer home internet, mobile, home phone, and DigiTV services all in one place. Digi is committed to providing all communities with access to high-quality, reliable, and affordable services while unlocking untapped potential and opening the doors to a brighter future for all. Be a part of the transformation and experience connectivity like never before. Because with Digi, connectivity matters.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Get out and explore this weekend with Caribbean Sprinter. With our ferries, you'll get to San Pedro, Belize City, and Key Cocker faster and smarter. Visit Caribbean Sprinter online at sprinter.bz.
Digi users, vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the contestant's number and sending it to 588. Voting will be open from 8 p.m. on Tuesday until Sunday at midnight. Each vote costs 55 cents. Smart users, vote by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to 5885. Each vote costs 50 cents. Here are this week's contestants.
This is what I found. Nobody wants to be alone. If you're touched by the words of a song.
So you see, I love you so much that I don't wanna watch you leave me, baby.
Watch countdown to the end of the day. The clock ticks that way. It's so unreal. Didn't look out below. Watch the time go right out the window. Try to hold on.
You really don't have the time. You've got one night only. One night only.
Me gusta tocar guitarra, me gusta cantar el son. El mariachi me acompaña cuando canto mi canción. Me gusta tomar mis copas, aguardiente es lo mejor.
There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes we're gonna have to lose.
Tune in to KTV The Remix Season 5 every Tuesday at 8 p.m. live only on 5.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, July 28th. I am Sabrina Daly. Another summer and another state of emergency is being declared in Belize City as feuding gangs go on an unabated rash of deadly shootings. This morning, the Belize Police Department led a joint operation during which 25 individuals were detained in 3 different neighborhoods, including territories that are operated by the George Street, Southside, and Taylor's Alley gangs. The SOE comes hard on the heels of another murder on Wednesday night near Water Lane. Investigators believe that the execution of James Escarpeta was a direct reprisal for the shooting death of Stephen Moss a day earlier on Cesar Ridge Road. The Ministry of Home Affairs called a press conference at midday to inform the public that a crackdown is in effect for active members of these warring factions. News 5's Isani Cayetano reports.
In Belize City this morning, a joint operation between the police department and the military saw the rounding up of roughly 2,000 young men from various neighborhoods. It is the latest offensive in an attempt to quell a recent flare-up of gang violence. The law enforcement campaign comes in the wake of the Wednesday evening murder of James Escarpeta near Water Lane.
The decision to institute a state of emergency was made yesterday, and 3 key areas were declared under the state of emergency. Those areas are the entire area from south of Orange Street, north of Reggae Street, west of Albert Street, and east of Central American Boulevard. That captures George Street and SSG area. The other area is all that area situated north of Orange Street, south of Water Lane, west of Albert Street, and east of East Collect Canal, which captures the Taylor's Alley area. And the third and final area is all that area of land situated west of Central American Boulevard, south and east of George Price Highway, and north of Farbers Road. So that captures the entire extension area. So those are the areas of operation for the SOE.
The wave of killings was precipitated by an attack that took place in the George Street area. It extended to Cesar Ridge Road before making its way to the Taylor's Alley neighborhood. Home Affairs Minister Karim Musa isn't big on states of emergency. Nonetheless, it is the 3rd SOE since he took office in 2020.
The decision that was made, of course, was not an easy one, but it is of paramount importance that we provide safety and security for our law-abiding citizens. And based on the intelligence that the police had been gathering, this decision had to be made for a state of emergency within this very limited area.
According to Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, the pre-dawn operation today was calculated and targeted only the persons suspected of being involved in the ongoing rivalry between the George Street and Southside gangs.
The SOE is not a blanket one where we're just picking up any and anybody from within those particular areas, but we do have a number of persons who are being targeted, and what we're doing is to pick them up based on intelligence and just pluck out those persons who our intelligence is telling us are creating a problem or have the potential of creating problems in those declared areas. We have so far detained a number of 25 persons thereabout. There are still a few persons we're looking for.
But why a state of emergency as a means of addressing the open-ended conflict?
It is only prudent that when we have a situation where we have done our best to ensure that we try to find ways to work with these different groups, like for example through LIU, and we have opportunity for them to get into different programs, and they refuse to and continue to live a lifestyle where they create fear in the lives of the ordinary people, then the government do have a responsibility to ensure the safety of the citizenry. And while the SOE may be the measure of last resort, as the minister have said. Sometimes it is a necessary evil that we need to apply to ensure that we get these people to put a pause on their actions.
During a state of emergency, a government is empowered to put through policies that it would normally not be permitted to do for the safety and protection of its citizens. In this case, for the next 30 days, the rights and freedoms of those persons taken into custody will be suspended in the first instance.
A state of emergency is not a solution. It is a tool, as the commissioner rightly said, to hit the pause button, to give a cooling off period for warring factions who are unrelenting and who will stop at nothing to continue in their retaliation. So that is all that an SOE is. The primary focus of our administration has been, one, let us focus on those individuals because it is estimated that it is close to 1,000 individuals, 1,000 at-risk youth that are potentially being recruited to be parts of gangs, focusing on those individuals and providing social reform services to them if it is that they want to live a positive life.
So, where is the police department in solving the last 4 homicides in Belize City?
Of the last 4 murders, I am fairly certain we will have at least 2 charges, if not 3. Along with good police work and aided with the assistance of CCTV cameras, we are able to identify who these individuals are. We are able to make arrests. Those are the primary crime-fighting efforts. It is only if those efforts are failing, and it is for a very small group, as the commissioner said, 45, and we're talking about potentially 1,000 at-risk youth that are out there. We have to look at crime as a public health crisis.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
As many as 45 young men will remain in custody at the Belize Central Prison once the police department has successfully corralled them. Several of them, including David Sutherland and Akeem Augustus, will be charged for capital offenses. According to Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, surveillance footage gathered from the area where James Escarpeta was fatally shot will prove useful in arresting the culprit in that murder.
Them that we have detained will be charged for murder. As a matter of fact, I just got an update from CIB that we have just charged someone in respect to the murder of Nikolai Reese. And we have also located Akeem Augustus, who is wanted for the attempt murder in Hattieville, that of the guy Lewis. And he too will be charged sometime in respect to the Lewis shooting. The murder we had on West Street 2 nights ago, we have good video footage from the police camera system picking up that murder, and so we know who the suspect is, and Ms. Martinez will be issuing the wanted poster for that person today, and will seek the public assistance in locating him. So once he is found, again based on our CTV camera system, we will be able to arrest and charge that individual for the murder of Escarpeta. So like the minister said, most of the murders we're making success in terms of detecting them. And with what we have, we think that we can successfully prosecute them eventually down the road.
31-year-old David Sutherland has been charged for the murder of Nikolai Reese that occurred on Neil Penn Road last week. Ironically, 4 days ago, Sutherland pleaded guilty to the lesser offenses of firearms, ammunition, and drug possession. Already serving a 3-year sentence for those offenses, this afternoon he was escorted from the Belize Central Prison to the magistrate's court, where he was arraigned for the deadly shooting that claimed the life of Reese. He appeared unrepresented before the chief magistrate. No plea was taken from him due to the nature of the offense. He was denied bail and further remanded to the Belize Central Prison until October 27, 2023. It is alleged that Sutherland pursued Reese and Jervis Samuels while they were on Neil Penn Road on the afternoon of July 20th. Reese was executed in cold blood, while Samuels was injured to the foot. Prior to his demise, Reese, who was a known affiliate of the George Street Gang, had also racked up a lengthy criminal record. As we've mentioned, the murder of James Escarpeta on Wednesday night was retaliation for the shooting death of Stephen Moss. But Escarpeta, a former gang member who was later mentally challenged, was not involved in that mid-afternoon bloodshed. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams spoke briefly on that incident.
Are you able to say if the attack on the murder of Mr. Escarpeta, was it just a random retaliation, as his family has said? We know that many years ago, 10 or 15 years ago, he may have been seen as an active member of George Street, but we know he's not mentally sound at this point that you would say, well, he's an active gang player. Was the attack on him just random to say that, well, we can get somebody from George Street? Anybody?
Based on our intelligence, it was an act of retaliation for the shooting death of Steve Moss.
But is it the belief that he was one of the persons in the Range Rover who went down to Moss, or just like we can get somebody?
No, that is not the belief, no.
As we have reported, alleged Southside gang leader Alex Underwood was arrested and charged earlier this week for being the member of a gang. Following his arraignment inside the Belize City Magistrates Court, Underwood was placed on remand at the Belize Central Prison. Tonight, the Port Loyola Football Club is coming out in his defense. Underwood is one of the owners of the football club. News 5 spoke with several members of the club during their practice session at the MCC ground. Those individuals we spoke with claim that police are fabricating the allegations being made against Underwood. A couple of them chose to speak off camera.
I just want to say to the public that, this is what Alexander is into. He is into his football, also basketball too, but this is his team, Port Loyola. And I just came to clear his name then, to let the people see that this is what he's into in sports. He's a businessman also, he changed his life.
In terms of the question as to whether or not he's a member of CYDP and whether he works with that organization, the police is saying, particularly the Commissioner of Police is saying, no, that's not the case.
But that is not true, because he is a part of the CYDP. He go and he collect the guys' check and pay them and all of that.
The man, where the system take as right, because the man like to football, the man they have for the team every time. Anything where the team asks for, the man try should be taught, you check. So the man do a good thing for the team, man.
What do you make of the allegations that he's the leader of the Southside gang and that he's actually instructing young men from the area to carry out hits on others in other areas?
Well, like where the system is say, that I'm a fraud because that man not into their thing there. Yeah. If that man be into their thing there, the city may bloody honest. Yeah. I'll be real.
He had owned our team and he take one a lot of youths off of the street same way, because without this football team, the city now may have one team. For the longest, the city now have a semi-pro team, and I have to applaud him for what he do, because we have, a lot of business players, a lot of ministers that is place, and nobody say have one football team, and me personally, football do a lot for me, so I have to applaud the man when it comes to that.
What's your thoughts on the allegation that basically Mr. Underwood they live on double life?
Well, like I said before, I can't tell where he do when in the wrong way, but I could speak for when in the wrong way. That's pure positiveness, no?
Was Alex Underwood under the employ of the Leadership Intervention Unit? That's what the Commissioner of Police was asked for a second time today. Since the arrest and remand of the so-called SSG boss, much has been said about his alleged criminal involvement. Notwithstanding those charges, Underwood is seeking his release from the Belize Central Prison by applying for bail through the High Court.
Was not Alex Underwood at a recent time also on the LIU payroll?
Alex Underwood was not an active member of LIU.
So he had been a member?
Again, as I said before, Jules, We classify members of LIU as persons who are employed by LIU or a part of our programs. He was not paid, neither is he a part of our programs. Alex Underwood, as you would know, operated a football club, and that is what he was doing.
Sir, Alex Underwood is applying for his bail at the Supreme Court. Do you believe he'll be successful in that?
If he's successful, then we'll capture him under the SOE. It's as simple as that.
Coming up, Nimrod Tillett shot in Corozal. Police have no suspects. Find out the details of these stories when we come back.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says there is one God and one mediator between God and man, the man Christ Jesus. Recently, a Belizean pastor friend was visiting with me, and I took him to meet a friend at a cellular telephone business. The friend gave him a cell phone. While the cell phone was in perfect condition, you could make no calls because it had not been activated. When my friend returned to Belize, he immediately had the telephone activated and began making calls. You see, the phone without being activated by the Belize Telephone Company was useless. It was activation by the telephone company that made the difference. I have thought of my friend often since he got his phone activated. God has put within every man the ability to communicate with Him. However, to communicate with God, you must get your prayer life activated. How do you do this? You do this by believing in Jesus Christ, God's Son, as your Savior. Through Him, we are able to have direct access to God's throne. This is what the Bible means when it says, "For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Jesus Christ." Let me invite you to come to Christ today and activate your prayer life in order to communicate with your God. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
I'm a fourth farm student at Escuela Secundaria Técnica Mexico. And firstly, I would like to thank BEL for this opportunity, for we not only obtain prizes that facilitate our student life, but also knowledge in things that are essential into our everyday lives, such as energy.
We are thrilled with the prizes that our students have received, and so we are certain that they are very happy. When we communicated with their parents, they were also very excited to get to know that their children were being recognized.
Through this energy challenge, I learned many things that can be applied to my daily life, such as tips on conservation of energy, which I can apply at home.
First and foremost, we want to thank BEL for coming up with these challenges and also taking into consideration the schools and our students. In our case, it helps us to and helps our students to challenge themselves in the knowledge and content that they have.
I would like to give a big thanks to BEL for giving this opportunity. It is an amazing opportunity for us students, as the prizes will help us in our studies and that they continue to challenge the students.
Bro, I really think we got this year.
What you mean think? I know we got this year.
We got man like Elijah to come.
Man like dog they come.
So we have forgot Ian.
And we got team ready for the war.
We got this, man.
Don't know.
Attention all basketball fans, get ready to witness history as Belize proudly hosts its first ever junior national team competition, the FIBA Under-17 Central Basket Championship. The Belize Civic Center will come live with sounds of squeaking sneakers, thunderous dunk, and electrifying three-pointers. Don't miss a single moment of action as these young athletes showcase their skills on the hardwood. This is your chance to experience the thrill of international competition as 8 teams from across the region battle it out to the Central Basket Championship and a chance to qualify for the Under-18 FIBA Americas Championship. Get ready to cheer on and be part of the roaring crowd that will motivate our boys to give it their all as they match up against powerhouse teams like El Salvador, Panama, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and Jamaica. So mark your calendar and make sure to secure your tickets for the unmissable event. From July 26th to July 30th, the Belize Civic Center will enter the stage for basketball greatness. Stay tuned to our social media pages for when tickets go on sale.
Based on the intelligence that the police had been gathering, this decision had to be made for a state of emergency within this very limited area.
As the Minister have rightly said, that the decision to institute a state of emergency was made yesterday.
The fact that the government has taken the drastic step to declare a state of public emergency on the south side of Belize City is a clear admission of their inability to handle the crime situation. Locking up gang members for a month will not do anything to address the poverty and inequality on the south side of Belize City. It will not address the number of young people who are on the streets instead of being in school. We repeat our call for the removal of the Commissioner of Police.
Nimrod Tillett, or Nimrod Katsim. If his name rings a bell, well, that's because he has a colorful rap sheet. The 34-year-old has been charged with 3 different murders and has been able to walk away from all 3 charges. Tillett had moved from Orange Walk to Corozal after he started to receive threats on his life. Now he finds himself the victim of a shooting on Thursday night in the Corozal district that has him fighting for his life in the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital. Police have no clue who the shooter might be, and their hope is that Tillett will survive his wounds and name the person who shot him. News 5's Marion Ali reports.
The last killing to which Nimrod Tillett was linked happened on Carnival Day last year in Orange Walk Town, when 43-year-old Bernard Timmons was chopped to death following an argument with another man. Timmons had just arrived from Belize City to visit his mother, but she never got to see her son. He was killed before he reached her house, shortly after a man with whom he had had an argument returned and hacked him to death. Police said that man was Nimrod Tillett Katsim and later charged him with Timmons' murder. Then in May 2020, the COVID lockdown did not stop a callous murder on a farm in Yo Creek, Orange Walk, when police found the dismembered body of 30-year-old Abner Novello. Both his hands were severed and his knees were slashed. He was also shot several times. Novello was found on a farm that he guarded a few hundred yards off the San Antonio Road that leads to Yo Creek Village. Police later charged Nimrod Tillett Katsim for that murder and said it was the result of an old dispute between the two. Nimrod Tillett Katsim's first murder charge came back in February 2009 after the body of 44-year-old Enrique Castillo was discovered inside his house a few hours after a party he had at the residence on the Belize-Corozal Road, a day before Valentine's Day. Tillett, only 23-year-old at the time, who was Castillo's lover, turned himself in and was charged for the murder. Police said the motive was robbery since Castillo's valuables were missing. Today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told the media that Nimrod Tillett Katsim had moved away from Orange Walk after he had received threats.
He's originally from Orange Walk Town, and he moved to Corozal because he was getting threats that he was going to be killed. So we don't know if it is because of what he had been accused of in the past that led to his incident last night.
The 34-year-old had gone to visit his girlfriend on the outskirts of Corozal Town when a gunman accosted him and shot him.
Investigation so far revealed that Tillett had just arrived at the residence of his girlfriend on a motorcycle, and as he was about to walk into the yard, a lone gunman came and fired multiple shots at him, causing his injuries. At this time, we are not able to ascertain exactly who the gunman is. We're not sure if Tillett knew the gunman, and we're hoping that he would be able to make a recovery and may be able to gives the investigators some leads in terms of that particular matter.
Williams said that police retrieved several 7.62 expended shells from the scene. These are consistent with AR-15 rifles, which Williams said are easily accessible in the north because of the influence that the cartels have in the Quintana Roo area, which is not far from Belize's northern border. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Rainforest Seafood Limited has agreed on a $760,000 settlement with the Fisheries Department after 4,000 pounds of undersized conchs were found at its processing plant in Independence Village. Fisheries officers made the bust at the end of June during an inspection exercise. The confiscated conchs amounted to just under 23,000 pieces. The standard fine for a piece of undersized conch is $50. At that rate, Rainforest Seafood Limited would have been required to pay close to $1.2 million. But the Fisheries Department's internal policies permits a processor to have undersized conchs so long as it amounts to no more than 2% of the entire quantity in storage. When you take away that 2% from the 50,000 pounds Rainforest Seafood had in storage at the time, you are looking at roughly 1,000 pounds or 25% of the quantity seized. Additionally, the conchs that weighed in at just 2.9 ounces, which is just below the prescribed 3 ounces, were also subtracted from the amount seized. This was done to give consideration to the shrinkage that takes place when the product is frozen and then thawed. So a lot of math and science were factored in around the negotiation table. This ultimately brought down that $1.2 million fine by just over $300,000. Fisheries Director Rigoberto Quintana sought to justify the numbers in a press conference this afternoon. He was asked if the average fisher folk would receive the same treatment.
With those fines for the regular fisher folks, I think only has been one case that they were charged over $100,000. Recently we had, I think it was a combined case of 3 persons charged that added up to over $100,000. But I can tell you the discussions surrounding the settlement. We have a CITES inspection protocol that is an internal policy of the Fisheries Department, where we would allow for a minimum of 2% at the processing facility to be below the 3 ounces. That's a document that CITES has agreed that we apply at the processing facilities, given the fact that when the product is purchased, there are further trimmings at the processing plant. Bear in mind, the total amount of products in this case that were inspected was 50,000 pounds. And if you were to just look at that simple below 2%, you're talking about over 25% of those products that were seized. So that is where we had those discussions in the settlement agreement. Also, we have been advised by the Office of the DPP and the Attorney General that there has to be further discussions as to where we fill some of those gaps in the Fisheries Resources Act, which will also look at it to have some level of differentiation when you apply the law to fisher folks and then these processing facilities. There was the question of possible shrinkage during the tying process. The evidence that we have, they were thawed at least 2 times during the process. And given the benefit of the doubt in the negotiation agreement, we said let's look at the 2.9 weights that we had in the sampling forms, and we came up with 8.2% of that. When you add those two figures, you come up roughly about 33-point-something%. That is, so this was like 1/3 reduction.
According to Quintana, while the department may be criticized for the manner in which it handled this case, the settlement ultimately saved the government time from having to go to court. He added that recommendations were also made for the department to amend its regulations so as to differentiate between the stipulations that speak to small-scale fisher folks and those that address matters pertaining to large processors like Rainforest Seafood Limited.
Bear in mind also that we have to be transparent and fair when applying the laws in this country. Tomorrow it could be the other processing facilities, right? I'm sure I would hear different public views if in this case it would have been somebody else being charged.
You understand that the average fisher folk, again, will say, oh, so that's science and all kind of tying and the weight shrink by so much %. When on the drag we of course, we don't have no fancy line to bring, on the board.
The issue of the product itself, I mean, when fishers land, those products are very fresh compared versus that you have gone through a freezing process. When we do those CITES inspections, we will do random sampling of the products that you have intended for export, and then we will count those products, and then we do those samplings. I don't know of any fisherman that they freeze products, but it's something that we will consider in the future amendments. If you look at on the positive side of things, I think it saves government time for any litigation or any carrying this matter in court, carrying it for another 6 months or a year, when there are some means of settlement, and then we decided to go that route.
Quintana informed the press that the confiscated goods will be donated to feeding programs across the country. The Fisheries Administrator also sought to address concerns raised by the Belize Federation of Fishers in its July 12 press release. In that statement, the Federation raised an alarm after announcing that through its partnership with the Summit Foundation out of the U.S., they found that conch stocks were heavily fished and showed significant signs of depletion. According to Quintana, through the IDB, the department is working on a $7 million loan to conduct stock assessments on several commercial species. He added that the findings of the Summit Foundation are highly questionable.
We have been in dialogue with them since the inception. We had, as government, we had requested them to provide a full proposal of what was their intent in Belize. Later on, they were to present to us some of the preliminary findings. When we had the meeting, the last visit they had, they mentioned that their report was in an advanced stage, almost ready for publication, which we had concerns. But we have written to them formally, copied the Prime Minister, that the government side is proposing to have a scientific working group that will work along with them to look at the validation of that data they're using, and also to use our fisheries data to see how the, because I think they analyzed 20 commercial species. I don't know about 20 commercial species that we have in Belize. So those things, we'll leave it to the science experts from our side. I can tell you the damage has been done.
After the break, World Nature Conservation Day commemorated in Lamanai.
Every project has to start somewhere, and Brothers Habet's got you covered. We're the place for professionals because we understand success is built on quality and reliability. For the do-it-yourselfers seeking quality tools and materials to bring their out-of-the-box ideas to life, our paint department offers a kaleidoscope of hues to those looking to express their unique style. And for those seeking the perfect touch of elegance for their homes, we offer a curated collection of household fixtures and furnishings that caters to every taste. But what sets Brothers Habet apart is our exceptional customer service. Our employees go above and beyond to ensure that every customer's needs are met. We're here to see you through your building journey. Visit Brothers Habet and get started today, or call or WhatsApp us for a quote. See you soon!
The Belize Tourism Board, Mars Production, and Pelican present the biggest show to hit the jewel we call Belize. It's the Belize International Music and Food Festival 2.0. Join us on Saturday, July 29th and Sunday, July 30th at the Marion Jones Stadium with live performances by Morgan Heritage, the dancehall queen Spice,
Me's a girl, me no fight over man.
Busy Signal,
turn up for them stairs,
Afrobeat sensation Rotimi, the biggest dancehall artist for 2023, Byron Messiah, alongside Skinny Fabulous, Jadelle, Earth and Owls, Mr. Warming Up Adam O, and Lyrical. It's the Belize International Music and Food Festival 2.0, July 29th and 30th. Come savor the rhythm as we pair music with the best of Belizean cuisine. Sponsors are Belize Tourism Board, Pelican, Niche, Pop, ICB, Wine Smith, eCash, Dolphin Production, Digi Wallet, Channel 5, Love FM, Creme Radio, Channel 7, Vibes Radio, Fiesta FM, and OYE Radio.
Make your summer better. Over $30,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan. Use $100 or more regular prepaid credit. Do a SIM swap or text in to the short code 786. In the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase.
No waste no time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes. All methods give you more chances to win local airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize valued at $10,000, courtesy of Smart and the Belize Tourism Board.
Promotion ends September 15th. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart's Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Get between Belize City, Key Cocker, and San Pedro on a ferry faster than anyone else with Caribbean Sprinter. You better Belize it. Get with us online at sprinter.bz.
Digi users, vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the contestant's number and sending it to 588. Voting will be open from 8 p.m. on Tuesday until Sunday at midnight. Each vote costs 55 cents. Smart users, vote by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to 5885. Each vote costs 50 cents. Here are this week's contestants.
This is what I found. Nobody wants to be alone if you're touched by the words of the song.
So you see, I love you so much that I don't wanna watch you leave me, baby.
Watch countdown to the end of the day. The clock ticks that way. It's so unreal. Didn't look out below. Watch the time go right out the window. Try to hold on.
You really don't have the time. You've got one night only. One night only.
Me gusta tocar guitarra, me gusta cantar el son. El mariachi me acompaña cuando canto mi canción. Me gusta tomar mis copas, aguardiente es lo mejor.
There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes we're gonna have to lose.
Tune in to KTV, The Remix, Season 5, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Live only on 5.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, This cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
World Nature Conservation Day is observed annually on July 28th to raise awareness about the importance of protecting the environment. The Institute of Archaeology hosted an event today at the Lamanai Archaeological Reserve in light of an ongoing preservation and conservation project. Today's activity included a series of lecturers as well as a river tour. Dozens of trees were also planted along the fringes of the reserve. News 5's Paul Lopez was there and filed the following report.
Meet 24-year-old Luis Gonzalez, the park manager at Lamanai Archaeological Reserve.
First of all, my job as my title said, park manager. So I manage the daily-to-daily operation here in the site, especially with the rangers working with me and the tour guide. So one of the points is I manage the tour guides which are coming with the tour operator to see how much people they're bringing, to see that they obey all laws and regulations. They're not running on the temples, throwing stone to the temples, and as well the maintenance of the site with the rangers.
Gonzalez is a resident of Indian Church Village, a small Mayan community that borders the reserve. Majority of the employees here are residents of Indian Church Village. The Institute of Archaeology relies on community partnership as a key component of its conservation efforts within the area.
Over the past, we have a history of trying to engage the community, especially here at Lamanai. The community of Indian Church has benefited a lot from this archaeological reserve. But it was more centered at the archaeology, tourism aspect. Now we're trying to bring awareness at not just looking at the archaeological component. It's a mixture of things, and we have to collectively take care of all of these things. But the new, renewed engagement of the community is also part of the conservation project here, is to train the locals, or continue training the locals so that they can know how to do the conservation here, do the maintenance. So they can also be employed.
The Lamanai Archaeological Reserve is recognized as the largest living forested area in that part of Orange Walk District. It sits on just over 900 acres of land. Surrounding lands have been deforested for agricultural purposes. The Forestry Department and the Department of Environment have partnered with the Institute of Archaeology in a commemoration of World Nature Conservation Day.
We're here at Lamanai. This entire area is a reserve. It's protected, right? It's protected primarily for its cultural remains, right? In terms of the historic pot trees, etc. But also the entire area is also protected from an environmental standpoint, from an ecological standpoint, because again, you cannot clear, you cannot destroy, you cannot extract anything from within this area. The reason why that is so is because if you remove, if you extract, and if you try to develop this area, then you'll have significant impacts on the archaeological remains, right? We have a beautiful temple just right behind us. Right? The reason why we protect a good amount of area around that is to preserve that so that we are enjoying it now, but we want the future generations to enjoy it. We also want the entire world to enjoy it.
When Gonzalez decided to pursue studies in park management at Escuela Mexico several years ago, he was inspired by a growing love for the environment and the conservation work that was taking place within the reserve.
First of all, because I love the environment. I love working in nature and protecting the historical things for the value in the future. I live close to the site. I am from Miniature Village, so all my life I've been involved around nature. So I like the animals, protecting them, for example, I like a lot about the history of the Mayas. So it's like a good opportunity for me for be working in a place which I like. One of my very important view I have is if we have people working from the village, they know exactly what we are protecting. So they will inform the village to not do this, not do that, and we'll have like everybody protecting the site.
Among its ongoing work, the Institute of Archaeology is currently engaged in the Lamanai Conservation and Preservation Project. The $350,000 grant-funded program is geared towards preserving the High Temple within the reserve.
People might be familiar that over the years, even before the pandemic, the structure was closed and off limits because the face of the structure was deteriorated. And so we have received funding in the sum of just over $350,000 from the U.S. Embassy. And we are about the halfway mark right now with the project. And so if you come and visit right now, you'll see a completely new and improved facade of the High Temple, as well as excavations ongoing within the ball court area in front of the High Temple. So at the end of the project, people will be able to come in and appreciate, a more holistic view of the ball court area, all the structures surrounding it, and the High Temple.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
This morning at the headquarters of the National Sports Council, representatives of various utility companies, including Belize Water Services Limited, Digi, and Belize Electricity Limited, presented checks to assist with covering the cost of hosting the Codicadaire U15 Games. Present for the handing over was Minister of Sports Rodwell Ferguson, as well as Cornelio Acosta, Chairman of BWS, and Chief Executive Officer Ivan Tesukum on behalf of Digi.
This is the beginning of a long journey. While we now engage the utility companies, I believe the director will create now a marketing team to reach out to every company in this country if they want to make a contribution for the development of sports. It is very vital, it is very important. When you look at the MCC grounds, Mexico Center was damaged by a hurricane last year. Rogers Stadium, they all need a complete revamping. As the Ministry of Sports, we are committed for it to be done. While the resources are limited, we are going to find it. And when we spoke to the utility companies, they commit the 50,000 to Codicadaire, and while we were requesting 200,000 contributions for the year towards sports, I think they are contemplating and they are leaning towards assisting us with at least 200,000 for the year.
BWS, as the national water provider, wastewater provider, it's our corporate duty to assist in the development of sports, and not only sports in general, but also youth sports, such as the Codicadaire Games. As mentioned, we have already committed to providing an annual investment, I would prefer to call it an investment, in sports, development of sports, of $200,000. This is the first step, sponsoring the Codicadaire Games.
Our contribution as our national telecom represents our ongoing commitment to the empowerment of our Belizean youth. As our national telecom, we remain deeply invested in the future of Belize and unlocking the true potential of our young talents. We remain committed to fostering a healthier, more active, and vibrant community, as we firmly believe that sports not only promote physical well-being, but also instills invaluable life skills such as teamwork, discipline, perseverance, and leadership amongst our youth.
When we return, September's celebrations calendar released.
They tell us major crimes are reducing.
Certainly, crime is on a downward trend.
But July has been one of the most murderous months ever.
The body of a 16-year-old is lying in the morgue tonight after he was killed yesterday morning.
Within less than 48 hours, another teen was murdered in the old capital.
An upsurge in gun violence continued in the city this evening when another man was shot on the south side.
Plus, a woman murdered in Progreso Village.
A single mother of two is shot and killed. Her 4-year-old daughter is injured by gunfire during a pre-dawn attack on their Plou Street home. A badly decomposed body is discovered near Maxboro.
This now becomes the second murder of a known gang figure
in as many days.
A late-night shooting in Hattieville.
Tonight, a known gang figure is dead after he was executed this afternoon on Niels Penn Road.
4 Belize City residents have been murdered in the last 9 days. 2 murders were recorded in approximately 6 hours. One in Belize City and the other in Belmopan.
Escarpeta was shot once to the body and died on the spot.
No, instead of acknowledging and addressing the crisis, the police minister blames the media.
I think the media also has a crucial role to play in how people feel safe, because now that you can see images, it's actually making you feel more unsafe when in fact the black and white statistics are saying you are in fact safer. It's just that now we have Facebook, we have social media, we have the news always bombarding us with crime stories that you say, my goodness, crime is out of control.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister keeps running from the media rather than addressing the many crises facing his administration.
I'm only going to be speaking about that. We want to focus on the Red Cross.
I understand, but sir, there was just one question, sir.
Tour guides, your renewal season is coming up. Please be advised that all tour guide license expires on July 31st, 2023. BTB will start accepting applications for renewal starting May 1st, 2023. Tour guides, we're asking you to apply early in order to have a new and valid license before the current one expires. To submit via email, you'll need a clear scan of each document in PDF format and properly named and labeled. Send your application with all supporting documents to tourguide@BelizeTourismBoard.org and include your full name and your tour guide license number in the subject line of the email. Remember to fill out your applications correctly, as BTB will no longer be accepting incomplete applications. Contact our licensing officers at 227-2420 and press 1 if you have any questions or concerns.
Everything is better electric. Be more efficient with electric vehicles and transforming your home with Energy Star electric appliances and power tools. This helps to create a greener and cleaner world for the next generation. Energize your world with BL.
Monday, July 31st, we will celebrate Emancipation Day and we invite everybody to Yabra Green for Ibotong Festival. Everything they start 11 in the morning. Then they have cultural handicraft, live art display like carvings and so, traditional Creole food, pastries, local wines, bouncy house for the picnic day, even one historical tour from Yabra to museum and back. Wait, it's not done there. Live music and performance by Brother David and Tribal Vibes, Boom and Chime, Second Generation, and Drums Not Guns. Sound system provided by Impact One Sounds. So remember, July 31st, Ibotong Festival, out at Yabra Green.
Nestled away in the quaint Belize River Valley, Black Orchid's Panda River Restaurant offers a variety of great dining areas and experiences with an excellent variety of local and international cuisine, with healthy meal options for vegans and those with health concerns. Your delectable dining can be topped off with our excellent desserts, natural fruit juices, and exquisite wine and drink options. All prepared by our certified chef and award-winning mixologist. Come to Panda River Restaurant and River Rum Bar to relax in the pool or use our excellent conference facilities combined with great dining.
A diamond in the jungle.
Sign up for a smart share plan and save big
Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
As has been reported in the news, former Port Leola area representative Anthony Boots Martinez is leading a campaign for the recall of the current area rep, Minister of State Gilroy Usher. And videos that were circulated this week showed Martinez embroiled in a heated dispute with one of Usher's employees over a house that Martinez had gotten built when he was minister and whose occupant has died. In a part of that video, when tempers flew and the employee slammed a crowbar on the window that Martinez was attempting to take out of the man's truck back, Martinez then ran off blurting out, "It's over now." And when the media caught up with Fort George area representative Henry Charles Usher on Thursday, we asked him for his thoughts on the recall campaign that Martinez is spearheading against Gilroy Usher. So when the Fort George representative retorted that he thought that the matter was over now, we found it funny. Here's how that went.
Isn't that recall petition over now? I thought it was over now. That's what Booth said. It's over now. I'm not even looking at that. I am absolutely sure that the Honorable Gilroy Usher would be able to withstand some type of whatever measure that fellow brings.
Minister of the Public Service and Fort George area representative Henry Charles Usher says that Keycocker residents have a right to petition the proposal to have their island subsumed by his constituency. Usher was responding to questions from the media and spoke at length on different aspects of the redistricting exercise and the proposed rezoning. Usher believes that it would have made better sense to have the census report ahead of the redistricting task force conducting the redivisioning exercise.
It would have been very prudent if they have had the census to be able to do their work properly. So I think it's very unfair that time constraint that was put on them, and it was put on them because there was a pending case in court. I think it was claim 55 of 2019, and to me an arbitrary date was given, July 17th, that you had to have a report by July 17th. We had proposed, when the Election and Boundaries Commission were being faced with this claim, why not wait at 30 days, 60 days until after the census? Why not set that date then? But an arbitrary date of July 17th was put forward. They were required to put forward their proposal without that, but I am sure that the proposals that the Election and Boundaries Commission finalized after the task force had done its work would have been much more informed if they had had the benefit of the census.
If you own property that has been left abandoned or neglected in Belize City, you might want to start showing signs that you're still interested in the land or the building. That's because the Belize City Council is looking to legally challenge abandoned properties and repurpose them for some beneficial use to the society. Mayor Bernard Wagner shared with the media that he plans to place legal claims to abandoned properties starting by zones, with a view to putting them to good use for the residents.
We are looking at how we could identify, because we can't do the whole bunch immediately, but identify a pocket of those properties, and then we'll put them on a list, we'll take them to the minister. Our first approach would be to really look at repurposing for the use by the entire community. So we look at parks, we look at playgrounds, we look at parking facilities, and so we are quickly identifying about 10 to 20 of those lots where we will then submit to the minister for a declaration for repurposing.
The September celebrations are a little over a month away, And today, the September Celebrations Commission released the calendar of events for the entire country. Director of the Institute of Creative Arts, Kim Vasquez, who doubles as the niche representative on the National Celebrations Commission, says the calendar represents a variety of fun and educational activities across Belize's 6 districts, and notably, the Gil Harry 7 Band, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary, will be honored.
Going forward, I don't think we can really say September celebrations. We need to say national celebrations because we are beginning the celebrations with Emancipation Day. Emancipation Day this year is going to be observed on the 31st of July. And we have the first state ceremony for Emancipation Day this year. That will be at Government House on Monday the 31st. And then we move over to the community festival, Ibotong Festival at the Yabra Green. So that marks the start of the celebrations. What I really like about the playbill this year is that it is filled with a combination of different types of events. We have everything from the fun and the festivities. We also have a lot of educational events. There is the Creative Youth Summit, for example. There is a UB panel as well. We have awards and recognition, the Belize at 42 awards. We also have, of course, Panyard, some of the crowd favorites. We are continuing as well. Last year, the Institute of Creative Arts and the NCC launched what is called the Living Legends Concert Series, where we honored Lord Rayburn last year. And this year, we are honoring Gil Harry 7. It's the 50th anniversary of the band. So that is something new that we can look forward to on the 8th of September. Every municipality has something here. And I must say that after today, you will find the electronic version on the National Celebrations page. You can pick up copies of the playbill here at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts or over at the Niche Administration Office.
It's the summer break, and to help keep the little ones' minds sharp, the Department of Youth Services, under its Alternative to Violence program, today held 2 rounds of a spelling bee contest for children from primary and high schools in Belize City. It's the second of its kind that the Port Loyola Alternative to Violence program has held, and it mimics the National Coca-Cola Spelling Bee in several ways, including the integrity with which the words list are selected and secured. News 5 spoke with the president of the Port Alternative to Violence program, Natalie Augustin, about the event.
The whole purpose of this spelling bee is to get the different communities in Belize City together in one place to be more engaged in family-oriented activities. It's both out of school and in school youths. It's very open. The spelling bee is always open for any participants to participate. As long as they want to participate in the spelling bee, they can register to be a part. So with the they contact the port innovators along with our partner, the Library Service or the Department of Youth Service, if they wanted to register for the spelling bee.
How receptive have they been?
Very receptive. The only challenge is that some of the kids get nervous along the way, but it's very receptive. They are pretty much involved in the program.
And prizes?
Prizes for the first place, we have $250. They receive a tablet, and also they receive a bag with stationaries in there. We got help from the National Library Service, specifically the Port Public Library. Though that ministry was the one involved in putting together the words, we had no involvement in the words per se. They put together the word and even the reserve sheet as well.
Up next, a summer program for the blind.
All business owners in Belize. The second Belize Investment Summit 2023 is on its way on August 30th to September 1st, 2023. Join us at the Grand Caribe Belize in San Pedro for 3 days of networking, presentations, and high-level discussions with key local and international decision makers. Do you have a business plan or are trying to expand your business reach and you just need the right investor to make it happen? Then you need to attend the Belize Investment Summit 2023. Don't miss out on this chance to take your business to the next level. Register for the Belize Investment Summit today at www.investmentsummit.bz.
I'm a fourth farm student at Escuela Secundaria Técnica Mexico. And firstly, I would like to thank BEL for this opportunity, for we not only obtain prizes that facilitate our student life, but also knowledge in things that are essential into our everyday lives, such as energies.
We are thrilled with the prizes that our students have received, and so we are certain that they are very happy. When we communicated with their parents, they were also very excited to get to know that their children were being recognized.
Through this energy challenge, I learned many things that can be applied to my daily life, such as tips on conservation of energy, which I can apply at home.
First and foremost, we want to thank BEL for coming up with these challenges and also taking into consideration the schools and our students. In our case, it helps us to and helps our students to challenge themselves in the knowledge and content that they have.
I would like to give a big thanks to BEL for giving this opportunity. It is an amazing opportunity for us students, as the prizes will help us in our studies and that they continue to challenge the students.
Investment Services Explained. In September 1999, SSB's Mortgage and Investment Unit was created. The unit later became the Investment Department in 2005 and officially Investment Services in October 2007. So, what is the Investment Services role? How does Investment Services help to support Social Security and you? And why is Investment Services important to Belize? Investment Services' function is to make prudent investments in the form of commercial loans, shares, and real estate development. The interest income generated from these investments ensures the fund is sustainable to pay current and future Social Security benefits to its insured persons. The investment income is used to support the working population and pay pensions such as retirement and invalidity. Additionally, investment loans support economic development through commercial loans to startup and existing businesses while aiding in increased production of goods and services. We can expect investment services to continuously impact the lives of every insured person through Social Security pensions. Investment services will continue to support the Belizean economy through secure investments in various industries. And that is why investment services exists. Social Security Board, an investment for you, your family, your future.
Make your summer better. Over $30,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan. Use $100 or more regular prepaid credit. Do a SIM swap or text in to the short code 786. In the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase.
No waste no time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes. All methods give you more chances to win. Local airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize valued at $10,000, courtesy of Smart and the Belize Tourism Board.
Promotion ends September 15th. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart's Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Visually impaired children face unique challenges in their development. And if you care about inclusivity, empowerment, and even human rights, the development of visually impaired persons matter. The Belize Council for the Visually Impaired has been leading the charge for decades. In this week's Look on the Bright Side, we stopped in to see how the organization is engaging visually impaired youth through its summer program after a 2-year hiatus.
On the Bright Side is brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
All right.
Yeah.
Download a generic file. You do you.
The Belize Council for Visually Impaired has an unofficial register of persons who have accessed its services and have been diagnosed as irreversibly blind. As of today, that number stands at approximately 1,400 persons across the country. Included on that list are visually impaired children. So BCVI provides a number of services to equip, enable, and support these persons free of charge. One such service is its annual summer program for youth.
The idea for summer camp started out, our first camp was in 1997, and it started out just as a way to bring everyone together, to get them to see different parts of the country, and so we did lots of field trips. And then we realized as we were getting children who were ready to go into school that they needed that foundation of Braille or computer use or orientation and mobility, so we would bring them in to socialize and to learn to get them ready for the upcoming school year for a week or two.
That's the basis of this year's summer program. It's a partnership with the Ministry of Education, Stella Maris School, and other stakeholders. For 1 week, visually impaired youth will learn the fundamentals of using a computer, orientation and mobility, as well as reading Braille.
We have different levels of advancement or placement when it comes to computers, and we work with a text-to-speech software called NVDA that BCVI provides on the laptops that we give to the students. And for the basic learning, we start with how to turn on a computer, the parts of a computer, your home keys, and then this more advanced, older group is going to be doing things like surfing the web, how to use Microsoft Office. Some of them actually know how to do coding and are very interested in that, so our IT officer has been trying to find ways to incorporate that as well to make it fun for them.
Dial Carvajal is a volunteer this year. He's no stranger to BCVI's summer camp or any of the participants here. He's here to assist others like himself who may not be tech savvy.
And I decided to come back as a volunteer because I know that a lot of us would struggle sometimes with technology, especially computers or smart devices. So I came back and I figured that I would try to do my best to teach everyone I could about what I have learned over the years and what type of experiences I've had. With me, I have Alyssa Fisher. She started doing typing first, but it seems that she is a bit more advanced than just typing lessons. So we moved on to browsing the internet for questions, asking Google questions, researching, and then after that we went on to creating files and folders and learning how to do copy and paste and simple tasks that you might need to do for school.
Do you know what you typed?
Yes, Mom.
Okay, what did you type?
I typed, my name is Alyssa and I go to high school. My favorite subject is science.
We have about 11 volunteers, and we have a couple of long-time BCVI clients and summer campers who really do obviously enjoy coming to camp and are happy to be back here helping this year. In our computer class today, we have Juan and Diel, who are from Belize City and Orange Walk, and they've come in to be able to provide support not just with Braille, but also with orientation and computers.
We tell her, okay, Jocelyn, you are at the first step.
Children with visual impairment often receive orientation and mobility training to develop their spatial awareness and independent travel skills. This training helps them to navigate their environment safely. Over at Stella Maris, the second half of the summer program is taking place. The older kids are focused on orientation and mobility training, while their younger colleagues are being introduced to Braille.
What we do in our Braille classes is for the younger children, we start with a Braille button book, and we would hand make those. We've had a couple of our volunteers actually make those for us this year, and so they can learn their letters. We also purchase for each student who needs one a Braille typewriter. Those cost thousands of dollars and they're not available in country, so we have to bring them in, and we teach them how to use their Braille typewriters, and that's how they start learning in terms of spelling and grammar and words.
So this one on the left is key 1. The second one is key 2, key 3, and over here is going to be key 4, 5, and 6. So when we teach letters, we just say the positions of the keys. Like, let's say we gotta do key 1. Key 1 is A. If we wanna do B is 1, key 1 and key 2. If we wanna do, I don't know, G will be key 1, key 2, key 4, and key 5.
The academic journey of a visually impaired student includes learning how to read Braille, which establishes a new skill set that empowers them to access information independently. Volunteer Damian Ferguson says learning Braille is similar to learning a new language. And like all children, the visually impaired have unique talents and capabilities. For Damian, it's his connection to music. He learned to play the ukulele in only 5 months. So the week-long program fulfilled its promise of learning and fun. We observed the teachers and their students at work. One thing we did not expect was a visit to the local movie theater. At first, the idea seemed quite strange. Blind children watching a movie. But I asked one excited participant to break it down for me.
You hear the bass from the back, the boom, when something, when the music, the film from the back is playing. And you just hear, if it's something like that has a lot of jump scares in it, you hear the crowd go off like, ah!
And our final stop was to see for ourselves. As it turns out, in the realm of visual impairment, imagination soars where only the mind's eye can truly see.
But time will not change me.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
On the Bright Side was brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
From now on, when you visit Uno, you will experience an A+ power in all fuels. Dynamax has evolved into Dynamax Plus. The new formula with the ultimate technology and additives provides an A+ power and A+ performance. Dynamax Plus, available in diesel, regular and premium. Try it today and reach further. Uno, a different energy.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5police.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, have a happy and safe weekend. Good night.